So the first thing I really want to go over and kind of hammer in is that fire tablet skip is a science. There are a set number of ways that it works, and everything else is wrong. Unfortunately, unlike a trick like city checkpoint skip, where there's a lot of different and equally correct ways to do it, there are very limited correct ways to do fire tablet skip. So you have to be very specific with how you learn the trick, and you have to be very specific with how you attempt the trick. If you're not doing exactly the right thing, then you need to adjust your method. Because if you're not right, you are wrong when it comes to fire tablet skip. There's nothing in between. Either you make it or you don't, and there's not any negotiation there. So the first thing we want to understand is what the ideal fire tablet skip looks like. There is a Imgur document I'm going to have a link in the description. That will make it a little bit easier for you to understand the specific frames I'm looking for, so I'm not going to kind of talk through those too much in terms of like pointing them out in detail. But I do want to kind of show how they look in motion and point a few of them out. So I'm going to try to show what the ideal fire tablet skip looks like, because it's really important. That is not it. That would, this is an early buffer. So basically what we're trying to show here is we're trying to jump, and we're trying to get a buffer on frame 2, and then we're going to advance our buffer on frame 4. And so this is the frame 3 buffer, so this is the harder variant of the trick. I mean, I might as well go for it, just to kind of show you that it works. This is the little bit less lenient way to do the trick, so it's not really how I recommend you train your muscle memory. But of course it does work, and you should try to go for it in runs. But when doing this trick, you want to make it as easy for yourself as possible. And the way to make it as easy as possible for yourself, this is quite a few frame perfect inputs, so forgive me if it takes me a couple tries. That's a frame early on the jump. This is the third frame one again. It does still work, of course. So we're doing a lot of frame 3 buffers here, which is okay. As long as you can consistently finish the trick, that's fine. However, to make it a little bit easy for you, you ideally want to go for the frame 4 buffer. So it would be nice if I could do it. That's the frame early on the jump. Frame late on the jump.
I was about to go punch the one that is aggro to me.
Alright, well, we're not getting exactly the tap skips we're looking for, but basically, so the concept, what we're going for here is, when you do the frame 1 and the frame 3 buffer, basically, you're entering into a slightly less lenient variation of the trick. Basically, when you let go of jump on frame 3, you get less height. This is the frame, so this is what you're looking for. Basically, when you get this frame, you're holding jump for an entire frame longer than the attempts I had been just doing, where I was letting go of jump on frame 3 because that was the buffer frame I happened to be hitting. When you let go on this frame, you get to go quite a bit further while still not hitting the ceiling, and it makes it so much easier. What? The entire rest of the trick just becomes so much more lenient. Like so, let's demonstrate. And then what we're doing here, we're just doing the flutter as demonstrated. We buffer 2 frames forward without holding jump, and then hold jump for the rest of the trick. And somehow that did not work out for me, unfortunately. I blame the muscle memory being kind of tougher to do while pausing and, you know, for an extended period of time and talking. But what you want to understand is that that's the frame that you're going for. It's like the easiest way to do the trick. And what that includes is you are jumping and you are buffering 2 frames later. And this is also what you're going for with your double jump. You're looking to jump and buffer 2 frames later. So personally, what I kind of recommend is kind of train yourself to do that. Like, just do a couple jumps in place and try to buffer 2 frames after your jump. Because this is what's going to happen in the middle of the trick. It's probably that would be, I think, the 2nd frame. And, you know, this kind of exercise where you're just kind of training yourself to understand the relationship between kind of your 2 fingers hitting jump and hitting buffer is going to help you do the trick more consistently. That'd be a frame 3. So basically, I recommend that you look over kind of the Imgur guide that I'm going to be posting, and kind of understand this concept of like jumping, buffering 2 frames later, and how to make the trick easy for yourself as a result. And then the secondary option, which is if you get the less optimal kind of pattern, how to kind of react to that. You may need to make sure you get a really precise tackle timing, or make sure that your double jump is perfect, and just kind of adapt a little bit to what you're seeing and how to
Summon their kind.
keep the trick working smoothly, regardless of kind of what variation you're going down. So this is a frame 2 buffer on the double jump. Everything works great. So that was a frame 3 release on my initial jump. So it's a little bit tighter, but I was able to get the frame 2 buffer on the double jump, which is the more favorable double jump buffer frame. So the trick still works, right? It's not it's just one of the couple variations that work when you're able to utilize flutter correctly and use it to your advantage. So this kind of talk, it's a little bit kind of really more about the kind of concept of fire tablet stip and kind of understanding what you're practicing, right? So you want to understand how specific the execution of the trick is. That was a really tight tackle I had to go for there. I barely made that one. You want to understand, you know, just kind of the nature of the trick you're doing, and understand what those jumps and those frame 2 buffers look like so that you can consistently do them and turn these into kind of actionable attempts, right? The frame early jump, frame 4 buffer. That might have been 2 frames early on the jump. Frame late.
Am I hammering this or less balls?
This is the correct jump on frame 3. That's exactly like the fire tablet skip I did just a couple attempts ago. It's exactly the same, and I know that when I'm doing the trick, I know the tackle is going to be kind of tight. So understanding these patterns of like what's going on, this is the same initial jump. That time it's frame 2, so this is 1 frame different on the double jump, and should still be fine, if only I didn't miss my tackle. Understanding kind of the patterns of fire tablet skip and how to recognize them, and how to ensure that you're going down series of inputs that can be successful, and not series of inputs that will lead to a lack of success, is really important. So hopefully this kind of video and the associated kind of frame screenshot reference will help you go through this trick, and maybe some of these demonstration attempts here, so frame early, frame 4 buffer. Hopefully they'll kind of give you a little bit more context, because when you're doing this trick, understanding the trick is actually more important than like your execution. Understanding the trick is the most important part of your consistency. That's the buffer release on frame 3, so it's a little bit more tight. Frame early jump. And this is, of course, how you practice the trick. Just keep doing it. You just need to understand this is the ideal frames here. And then my double jump is so lenient, you just do the flutter, and like I can tackle so early and I still make it so easily. I never have to risk hitting the lava because I got that ideal initial jump, frame 4 buffer. That's exactly what you're looking for. And then the rest of the trick just becomes so lenient when you get that. That's why you're always looking for those jumps and buffering 2 frames later. It's just going to make everything so much easier for you. And understanding what that looks like and how to do it. And then also how to do the backups that I've done multiple times with the slightly harder variation. Understanding kind of those 2 correct ways to do the trick, and understanding all the wrong ways that I'm not doing the trick is crucial to consistency. So this is kind of my little, it's not even so much of a guide, so much as a ramble. And the concept is how to take Fire Tablet Skip from a concept into, you know, a 20-minute time save. So hopefully kind of some of these examples were helpful to you. There's a ton of kind of B-roll footage here, however you want to call it, to kind of help you review and kind of see what I'm doing that works, what I'm doing that doesn't work, compare that to the reference guide, and most importantly, compare it to your own tricks and what's not going correctly in your runs. If you understand the difference between your attempts and my attempts, then you can fix them. If you don't understand the difference, then they're going to stay different, and you're going to stay on this side of the lava. So feel free to post in the Okami Speedrunning Discord, which will be linked in the description, if you have any questions. And you know, happy jumping.
Oh, so everyone's, yeah.